All right, well, we've got lots up and early, eager folks today. We'll go ahead and get started. I can do this. There we go. I still got to pick up the real bell from the cabinet, but I don't know the code. That was a hint, Nick. How are we all doing this morning? All right. We've got a lot of content this morning, and I want to get right into it. So there's a couple save the dates this weekend. Thanks to Charlie's reminders, we've got the Kevin Hebert Memorial Run. Anybody running this weekend? I'm not a runner. I bike. No, okay. And I see that some of our guests have popped on. Any visiting Rotarians this morning? Don't see any. Okay. Hello, Nira. Thanks for joining us again. And briefly, Jose, good morning. I'd like to say hello and let everybody know that you're our featured speaker today. We really appreciate you coming out at such short notice. And a little bit later in the meeting, Carol will give you a little more formal, or maybe Maggie, since you met at the fantastic yard sale this weekend. We appreciate you being here, Jose.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Hello, everybody.
Absolutely. Let's see, any others? I think that's it for now. Maggie, if you don't mind, ping me if some more come in after we get rolling here. Thank you. Just a heads up, we do have a district conference coming up. That'll be Doug Johnson's celebration of the Year of Rotary that was probably one of the most challenging we've ever had, although we're giving it a runner-up here. It is an in-person event. However, that proof of vaccination or a within 48-hour negative test will be required for attendance. Masks on other than when we're eating. So just wanted to let everybody know, August 31st is the action day for the last day for the early bird discount to register for that event. And then coming up in September, we have the Community Out of Darkness Community Walk, which Romy, I believe, has gone virtual. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the most recent news, is that It is a virtual walk.
Probably sensible, but not as fun, but we'll still get it done. And the main objective is to provide a sense of community and raise funds for that cause. And then I just mentioned the fellowship opportunity at district conference if you sign up. So that's where we're at with all that. We've got a couple of do-goodery things that, we were kind of locked down, but we're still doing things in our community. Romy, would you like to briefly describe our Home Away from Home program? And I know you had some others that wanted to talk about that as well.
Sure. So one thing that our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee is doing is to look for partnerships. We get so much more done in our community when we do it together. And so we've been looking for ways that we can do really great work and reach more diverse parts of our community by collaborating with other organizations. And so some examples, the NAACP, we distributed books that represented people of color with Native student clubs. We did Success in Both Worlds and sponsored their student club event. And Centro del Pueblo and Food for People. We've been able to do beautiful partnerships and outreach. We're looking at doing something with Cooperation Humboldt, with gardens and book distribution again. And then one of our partners is Equity Arcata. And so when Equity Arcata was established, they looked for areas of need and did some research. And one thing that they found is when students of color arrive, all students from out of the area, it's a big transition to Humboldt County. And students of color in particular, they were finding from surveys that it was a very difficult transition and sometimes even just downright unwelcoming. And so Equity Arcata thought, we gotta do something. And one of the committees that they created, one of the working groups, is Home Away from Home. And I've been on that committee for years. Rebecca's also on that committee. And so for years, we did a community potluck at the D Street Community Center, and everybody brought food, and we just sat down and shared a meal, inviting students, new students, particularly students of color, and just basically the whole message was, we're so glad you're here. You are so welcome, and we celebrate you being part of our community. And then last year with COVID, obviously we could not do that. So then we did a meal and a bag of stuff, food supplies and school supply. I mean, home and school and supplies and food. And it was just walk by, pick up your meal, pick up your bag, and on your way. COVID safe. Now, really, with COVID, more of a risk than really it's ever been through this whole pandemic right now. We had to get even more clever. And Rebecca, you want to talk about your plan?
Sure. So one of the things we are doing to welcome students is, and I mentioned this a little bit last week, is to give them like school supplies and welcome bag, because I think you all recall how expensive school supplies are and how intimidating it can be. We're looking, HSU is starting up a little slowly. We were looking to try and just distribute the second week of school. It looks like we're going to be pushed back a little bit into September, but I'm working with my company GHD, and we're getting some supplies I already have, like, headphones for all the kids. We're trying to get USB drives. We're going to get a little bag and then put together a message. But the idea is, here's some school supplies and some resources. I think we're also working with the multicultural centers on campus. So that's, one of the ways that Home Away from Home is trying to build a bridge with HSU, is working with those different centers. So those centers aren't going to open till about mid-September, but we're moving forward to getting students some school supplies and letting them know that, that we support them in their education. And at least for me, from a GHD and my company perspective, we may be known as an engineering firm, but we hire all sorts of people: engineers, scientists, accountants. We're actually looking for 2 junior financial assistants. So if anyone knows anyone looking for a entry job into finance, let me know. I can give you a job lead. But we've got surveyors and geologists and biologists and, everybody. So at least from my perspective, it's a nice outreach, because people, we do way more than just engineering. Almost anybody can get a job there with your degree from school.
So we decided to fill 200 bags and put school supplies and great stuff in it. And most importantly, a note that says to those students, we are so thankful you're here and we welcome you. And we're going to just split those bags so that they're distributed. The African American Center for Academic Excellence was just recently renamed. It's, and I hope I say this right, Umoja Center, and that means actually unity in Swahili. We're also going to deliver it to I think it's El Centro. And that's on campus, the center that supports our Latin American students, and then Latinx students. ITEP, which is the support in the teacher education and humanities, and INTERCEP, which is Native support for students in the sciences, and then the Multicultural Center, which is now called the Center for Equity and Justice. I might have got that name just a little bit wrong, but anyway, those are where those bags are going to go. So Rebecca and I, on behalf of our Home Away from Home working group, said, hey, it would be really cool if our club could support. So we took that to our community service committee. And AJ.
Yes, and so thank you, Romy, for bringing this opportunity to us. In addition to being able to support this program, it sounds like we're going to get a mix of being able to support some local businesses in our community. And Romy came and asked for some funds so that we could buy some gift certificates or gift cards from local food places. So we're excited to be able to share that we're going to support this effort with a $500 donation. Thank you, Romy.
Thank you, community service. Thank you to our club.
Absolutely. And going to HSU myself, I was a local kind of kid, but most of the folks I met that came from out of the area, I found that the part of the reason they came here is because, for one, it's about the farthest away they could get from home and still be in state for tuition purposes. But that's a big stretch because you all know how long California is. You can be 15, 18 hours from home and really have no, visitation throughout the school year. And so it is literally starting in a new community and a new culture. Even though it's still California, we're very different than most of the rest of the state. So thank you for making our students feel welcome. So many become an integral part of our community, both during their stay at school and many times throughout the rest of their lives. We have many people here who came here, started at HSU, and are now a foundational part of our community's diversity, and we really appreciate that. So thank you, students.
One more shout out. We do a number of these distributions and ways to connect with our students all through the year. And so we ask for ongoing donations, and shout out to Chris and Lisa Hemphill for making a big donation to that too.
Thank you very much. Sarah wanted to say something about the in memoriam bench that we contributed to for Jacoby Creek School. We'll bring her back, but that's what that picture is about. That's the bench itself. It is highly durable and beautiful, made of concrete and old growth redwoods, and I think it'll be there quite a long time in memoriam of a beloved Bayside community member. Next up, we've got good things happening. Just wanted to make sure, Kenneth and Luke, are you both on the call? I see Luke here. Good morning, Luke. If Kenneth couldn't make it, that's okay. We'll take care of Luke. We have 2 new proposed members that are becoming official members of the club today through the process that we call red badging. And so without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to our membership committee and let them lead us through this in a virtual way.
Thank you, Ian. Definitely, I'm grateful to have these 2 very active members, and so excited to bring them on. Definitely see a lot of good things happening in the near future. So, fellow Rotarians, it is my privilege and pleasure today to conduct an induction ceremony to bring in a new member to our club. Luke was proposed for membership by Ian, and his proposal has been reviewed by the membership committee in accordance with
by Terry. Luke
oh,
is,
that's right. That's right.
Terry's candidate.
You're Ken's. I'm sorry.
I was
yes, by Terry.
It's okay.
Thank you. In accordance with our club constitution and bylaws, his name has been circulated and his application for membership has been approved. Thank you, Terry. Rotary is defined as a volunteer organization of business and professional leaders united worldwide to provide humanitarian service and help build goodwill and peace. Club members meet weekly to plan service projects, discuss community and international issues, and enjoy fellowship. Clubs are non-religious, non-political, and open to individuals of diverse backgrounds. Rotary encourages high ethical standards in all vocations while striving to live and work by the 4-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? So Luke, we now proceed to admit you into the membership in the Rotary Club of Arcata Sunrise. We welcome you to the friendship of Rotary throughout the world. The ideal of Rotary is service, which is why our motto is service above self. And the object of this club and all Rotary clubs is to encourage and foster this ideal as a basis of worthy enterprise. And you are to share in this effort. Luke, you've been approved for membership in the club because we believe you to be a worthy representative of your vocation, are interested in ideals of Rotary, and willing to do your share in translating these ideals into action. You've agreed to accept the obligations of membership in this club as people of action and to obey our club's constitution and bylaws. Your sponsor will be delivering your Rotary pin, the emblem of the Rotary wheel, which we hope you will wear with the pride of being a Rotarian, but also with the humility of service. And then at this time, Ian has up your red badge, which is the symbol of a new club member. As a new member, there's a path you'll follow as you achieve your blue badge status. And I know you will achieve this in a timely manner. I will be shortly following up with this email with the contents of our new member packet, which will contain information about our club and a little bit about Rotary International. You may have many questions in the coming weeks, and I encourage you to seek the answers from your sponsor, your mentor, members of the membership committee, and the club president or any club member. And I believe your mentor is going to be Scott Heller. It's my pleasure on behalf of the club, on behalf of the board of directors and the entire club membership to welcome you to the Rotary Club of Arcata Sunrise. So, fellow Rotarians, I'm happy and honored to present to you our newest club member and newest Rotarian in the world, Luke Scown. Ian asked that since this induction is being conducted via Zoom, and we normally allot time for the traditional handshake, that we perhaps hear from you, Luke, as to why you chose Rotary and why you chose our club.
Sure. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate, thank you for the induction and letting me into the club. I very much do appreciate it. Rotary has been something that, since I was a kid, my family's been involved with Rotary in different aspects, and it's always been something that's been familiar to me to some degree. And I've just gotten to a point in my life where I felt like I wanted to do more, be more involved, and have a larger sense of community. And I work here in Arcata, and this was a logical place for me to look for that. I feel like Arcata is a important place for me. I like it here. I identify with kind of the feeling of Arcata, so I look forward to being able to do more here. So thank you very much. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Luke, and welcome. Back to you, Ian.
Luke, we're so glad to have you with us, and I got to shout you out. I know that even before you were officially a Rotarian, you participated in last weekend's fundraiser, our fantastic, fabulous yard sale. So thank you for jumping right in with both feet. Everything that everybody does makes a difference, and you did. Real quick, I see Kenneth's red badge up here. While you were talking, Luke, I got a text from Kenneth. He's got a valid excuse. This is probably the most valid excuse I've ever seen. Kenneth says, hey, Ian, I was called in to come into work early since I'm in charge of safety at the Sun Valley Group. I am in charge of getting roughly 200 people vaccinated this morning. Surprise! I apologize for the last minute message. If anybody wants a Moderna shot, we will have some spares. Come on down to Sun Valley from 9 to 12. They're also offering influenza shots as well this morning. So good job, Kenneth. We'll catch him next week. And welcome, Luke. Really, we're really grateful to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
Michael thought this would go appropriately with a new member induction. We don't always talk about our four-way test and our Rotary motto, but I think the phrase service above self is something you wanted to touch on this morning. And when you sent this, it was very clear that this had to be shared. These are words specifically from Michael. And if you'd like to comment on this, Michael, I'd love to hear from you.
Thank you, Ian. First of all, I'd like to say that my inspiration came from my fiance, Nira, and her two girls, Karina and Kiani, who will hopefully join me officially the middle of October. I have been deeply involved in education for my entire life, and I was inspired to write. The phrase service above self evolved from speeches during the Rotary International meetings as far back as 1911, and soon became the motto of our organization. It is much more than a motto. It needs to be the words we each live by. It is what should be taught to our high school students. Our high school interactors should show this through their actions to their fellow students. Give your time and energy to help others, not for reward, but for being of service to others, because it's a good thing to do. It's not about business or profit. It is only about having the heart and mind in the right place to do for others. You are not an individual service worker. You are an individual who chooses to give time, energy, maybe some money to help others in your community. Rotary is not a bunch of people meeting for fun unless fun is working together for the betterment of our community. Rotary is service above self.
Very well put, Michael. I really appreciate your thoughts, sharing your thoughts. I think all of us here feel that, and you're right. I think all of us also agree that unless it's fun for the betterment of our community, it's not for us. We know how to have fun in that way. Thanks for sharing. Quick Club Foundation budget update. Unfortunately, last week we did have to call off our Summer Scramble Golf Tournament, which left a $8,000 hole in our anticipated income for this Rotary year. 3 members graciously donated what they had committed to that fundraiser anyway. So that's a happy. We earned more than that we had budgeted for from the summer sale. So that's a happy. So currently we're only $5,500 short. We have made some necessary budget cuts, mainly in the youth services and activities sector, and in part because we don't currently have a leader in that particular role. We are working to fix that. We should have a resolve by the end of this week. I wanted to bring up something that happened in part during Maggie's year, and I want to call it breakfast bucks. It's unfortunate that we can't meet in person right now. That's just how the times are. But if you had personally budgeted for that expenditure of our weekly $15.50 breakfast, please consider sending that weekly or all at once to our club's Venmo and just put it down as breakfast bucks, and we'll build that back toward that $5,500 budget shortage. Yard sale was a success, but there's still more. Maggie, do you want to briefly touch on how that went? And your teammates, Stephanie, who's in the Galapagos right now, can't comment, but Claire also had a major hand in getting this done.
Yes, we were very successful. We made about just over $3,100. We still have a few items out there that we are hoping to sell. I think, Ian, you've got a couple things up. And I also wanted to share these little knobs because they came off a dresser that I bought. The dresser needs some love, but these came off the dresser. When Terry and Marty looked at them when they arrived, they said, "Oh, those are Bakelite." And then when we Googled them, they're amber glass. They're made out of amber, and they're very common for, well, not common, but they're antiques. And we have 6 of them, and we're trying to sell them. If anyone is looking for some really sweet knobs, they're about 2.5 inches across, and they're just really pretty. And so if anyone wants to purchase 8, we have 8 of them. So if anyone wants to purchase 2 to 8 of those, let us know, and it will go to the club.
Thank you, Maggie. Claire, did you have any commentary on how that weekend went? Gosh, when I dropped by Friday to drop off the last of my stuff, you guys had a lot there. And when I dropped by on Monday to pick up what I had left, it was all cleaned up.
If you want something done, you have Rotarians do it. It went off without a hitch. And, Maggie was super flexible and Stephanie was great, but we also had a lot of really wonderful volunteers. And thank you so much, everyone, for helping. And I could not believe how fast we cleaned it up. It was like, boom, done.
Awesome.
So
And
yeah,
Claire,
thank you, everyone.
And Claire, don't forget your tables are in my garage.
Oh. I'll text you.
We've got a couple more items that we could use to bridge that budget gap. Anybody who needs to go bushwhacking, this is a old but good Husqvarna brush cutter. Takes a blade and is very dangerous in its prowess at cutting brush. So that's up for sale. Currently it's sitting at $95 on Marketplace. I've got a fun toy for somebody who is willing to put on the pads and helmet and go for either a land cruise, sand and grass and hills and all that for just the board. And then if you get out on a good stretch of pavement or like our waterfront trail or a big flat packed sand, it's got a sail to it too. So it's like land sailing. It's pretty cool, but my old bones won't take it when I goof up. So hopefully somebody will find some fun in that. If you want to look like our DG Dustin, our District Governor Dustin, there is a wakeboard for sale. And, you know, it may take many years to get proficient like he is in that picture, but that could be a lot of fun for somebody too. So about those things. Happy Grandpa visit, Mr. Hemphill. You want to briefly tell us about how that was to get that love?
Well, that's a great photo. My favorite photo right now, holding my two granddaughters. You know, what can I say? You know, one's like 3.5 and the other's like a year. And, you know, this is, it says it all.
That smile says it all.
Yeah. So.
Cam, last week we shared a picture of your beautiful granddaughter. I know you got to visit recently. You got just a moment on that?
Oh, yeah. She's about 1.5 months old and just doing great. Her parents are getting broke in real well. And I think, you know, they've had some long nights. They're getting familiar with that. And but she's just been fantastic. You know, we're going to actually, today is our first babysitting assignment. So we'll be over there hanging out with Fallon. So it's great. I always say it's kind of like Christmas every day as a parent, you know, when they're young like that. And I'm thinking it might be even better as a grandparent. So we'll see.
You actually get to sleep at night, right?
Yeah, right.
Unless you're babysitting for a full week.
Oh, yeah.
Fair
Well, I look forward to that. I'll have to check in with you, Chris.
And then Craig, last week, Janice did a great job of telling us a little bit about how you got to be on the wall at the community blood bank. Some about 15 gallons between raw blood or whole blood and portions of blood. How do you feel, Craig? You're looking a little dehydrated.
I'm coming back. Actually, I just donated again on Wednesday.
Oh my gosh.
What started this process, restarted the process for me, is actually Janice had an immune reaction to quinine years ago, and it caused her spleen to kill off all the platelets in her blood.
Oh.
So even though she felt fine, she spent 4 days in the hospital until they got her straightened out, but it made me acutely aware of the need for these blood products, and especially platelets. So the thing about platelets is the donation lasts about an hour and 50 minutes. So it's a pretty good commitment, but you just have to, you know, work out in the morning so you can snooze while you're donating.
Well, thank you for literally donating your blood to our community. It's you know, invaluable resource, and you're a major donor over there. So thank you for that. Real quick update on our vaccine status as a club. Our responses keep trickling in. We're up to 48 responses so far, and so far 100% are fully vaccinated on our responses. So thank you for keeping that going. Appreciate it. And then we are still now over 6 months with no new wild polio cases worldwide. Still on target for 2026. And I don't know enough about it to really offer any insights, but I do want everybody to consider paying attention to, you know, enough news that you can tolerate and process. But, you know, Afghanistan is a very different challenge this week than it was last week. And that will, in some way, affect our organization's efforts to eradicate polio in the last two countries where it's still running wild, Afghanistan and Pakistan. So please do keep that in your thoughts. I did talk to our past district governor, Bob Rogers, last week when the report came out. And, he's the source of eternal optimism. He said, Ian, of course I'm worried, but we were there doing it before this, the last 20 years, and we'll be there long after the last 20 years. So one way or another, we're going to get it done. But keep that in your thoughts, and it may just be a Rotarian Art Club that has an insight that helps that diplomacy and cross philosophical governmental connection happen and continue our good work in finally eradicating polio in the world. Nick, if you don't mind, if you're ready, we'll go ahead and do the raffle. If you're not ready, just say so, and we'll move on and come back to it.
Nope, I'm ready.
Yay.
All right, so let's see. We have a lot of entries today, and we'll see who gets it. The big the blue ball is worth $70. And so we have Luke is the first one.
Hey, Luke.
Yeah, we didn't set this up either. It just kind of happens that way. All right, $5, Luke. I'll send that to you through Venmo, and we'll see who wins the next one. And Ed.
Hey, Ed.
Yeah. Ed buys his tickets on Thursday night. All right,
done,
$5. So I'll send you both your money through Venmo, and thank you guys all for playing.
Thank you.